to tune in on Mondays, 2:30 to 4 p.m. on WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. Thank you all for tuning in today. If you're following us online, make sure you hit like, follow, and save, and drop a comment. Even if you just drop like a thumbs up in the comments or a hi, how are you in the comments, do that, because every comment you make online helps kick the algorithm to get it out to more people. So take 2 seconds, share it on your page, share it on your friend's page, hit retweet, and let's get into it. Make sure you drop the comments, and if you drop the comment, we'll do our best to pop it up and talk about it. So over the weekend, it was Mother's Day. Thank you for that heart there. I see it. So I want to wish everybody a belated happy Mother's Day if you celebrate Mother's Day. And if you don't celebrate Mother's Day, hey, I understand. Not everybody has had the best experiences with mothers. So, I mean, I guess some people even have it where they don't have a mother, right? Like they have somebody that is like how some women like to call men sperm donors. They have some women that are egg donors, but those are conversations that nobody wants to have. And those are real serious conversations that we need to start having, especially in the United States, when we see the collapse of the family becoming so pervasive. I mean, it's just everywhere through every demographic. And it's an all-out attack on family, what we see right now. And I promise I didn't say this earlier, but I got to say it. If you are soft and you get easily offended, this is not the show for you. We are Western New York's #1 conservative talk show, and let's make it the #1 conservative talk show in all of New York State. So let's talk about this whole family dynamic situation, which we do not have anymore. Hey, Kevin, I see you dropped a comment. I'm going to keep going for a minute and then I'll pop that up. But let's talk about the family dynamic for a moment and the breakdown of the family in the United States. In the United States, we have a very peculiar trend of less and less families staying together and being together. A lot of that has come from the popularization through music and through magazines and through the movies and stuff like that, telling women that they don't need no man and all of this and all of that, and a woman can do by her own and all of this and all of that, which is something crazy, because if you look at the timeline of this ridiculous separatist feminist movement, and I call it a separatist feminist movement and separating it from the regular feminist movement, because there's a specific sect of it which prohibits essentially there being families. Like they do not want families. They do not want men involved in any families. And this is a serious issue, because as we have this conversation on this topic, nobody really wants to talk about that. So, you know, in the younger generation right now, Gen Z, coming up Gen Alpha and stuff like that, we're seeing men turn more and more conservative now more than ever, because they've seen that the leftism isn't working. It's not working for them. It's a complete derogatory experience for them, you know, and I've got other thoughts on what to call it. Probably not clean for radio, but this is a situation. Feminism has become so ingrained, this separatist feminism nonsense has become so ingrained in our society that in every segment of the population, whether you want to say ethnic or cultural, or you pick, or urban or suburban or rural, you pick the demographic, the family separation rates are up and up and up. There are single parent households all over the place. Many babies being born out of wedlock. There was a time not too long ago, maybe about 50 years ago, where even if you weren't religious, having a child out of wedlock was taboo. Like that just was something that did not happen. And this is a serious problem that we have right now, because they've pushed and they've propagated all of this nonsense that they like to call free love, you know, bang whoever you want, sleep with whoever you want. And that's been a disastrous situation for not just our birth rates, but also our productivity as a nation. And that never gets talked about in the conversation when we're talking about comprehensive households. They don't talk about the productivity of our country as a nation. So now, what was the motivating factor for men to work? their families, not just so much to survive, because the concept of a man, a real man, is for them to be the provider in their family, right? Note those words, family, provider for the family. And this is a serious issue, and we don't talk about it. So with men being pushed out of the household, that pushed more women into the workforce. And we can really trace it back to World War II, where they started to push the women into the workforce more so because all of the men were away at war. And you got to really start to ask yourself, why would they do that? And why was that happening? And who was really benefiting? But that's a whole nother conversation for another episode. But it's interesting because in our country, in our present history, they try to act like women were never in the workforce. That's nonsensical. Women were always in the workforce. It's just that there were jobs and things that they didn't really do. Like for the majority of history, women have never really had, I'm using air quotes if you can't see me on the radio, professional jobs. And when I say professional, I mean like stuff that would be considered like lawyers and stuff like that. Not even necessarily doctors, because many women were nurses and stuff like that, which is a very important role, which we could talk about the shortage of nurses right now and the shortages of females who traditionally served as nurses being in those roles. And we could talk about why that is, but we're not going to have that conversation. So women were pushed into the workforce, and then the 50s came and all of the women went back to being housewives largely, right? But you look at around that time, there started to be this undercurrent to push to get women back into the workforce. But because of the economic boom after World War II, what we had a lot of prosperity in our nation. So again, women did not have to work because men could provide for their whole family on a single income. And we could talk how this is related to the Federal Reserve and the removal of the gold standard and all of that, but we're not going to really dig that deep into this today because there's other stuff I want to go over today. But when we have this conversation, and I'm going to encourage you, hit the like button, hit the heart button, hit the share, drop a comment. I'm going to try to pop it up. We got 2 comments before I jump back into it. Let's see. Jojo got a comment. Let's see. I don't know why it does this on my screen. Makes it. Okay, Kevin's got a comment. He says, problems I told you on Saturday with the property management, reported to property management this afternoon. Okay, I appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you for sharing that with me, Kevin. If you guys are just tuning in, I regularly encourage people to get active locally. Kevin is in my city. He lives here, and he's been inspired to get active locally. So we do our best to address the issues in his area where he is in the South Wedge. All right, I appreciate you, Kevin. Or is that technically Swillsburg? I'm not sure. Kevin, drop what neighborhood that is technically. I think it's still technically the South Wedge. Right on the border there. Let's see. Now we got another comment. Let's see. Jojo's got a comment if it lets me pop it up. Sometimes it doesn't let me pop up the comments, you guys. Let's see. All right. So I guess it won't let me pop the comment up because it wants to be mean and nasty. How rude. But anyway, so if I can't pop it up in a second. Okay. Jojo says 76% of dads are not in the households in the Rochester community. That's a crazy statistic, isn't it? So if 76% of dads are not in the household in Rochester, what does that say about our productivity as a city? That limits productivity. And let's bring that back into the conversation, and then we'll get back on track with our timeline. So if men are not in the household right now, everybody's like, oh, everything is a struggle. Everything is a struggle. Yes, it is, because inflation, again, like what we were just talking about, inflation has gone up because they tried to force the women into the workplaces so that now there could be more productivity. I'm using air quotes if you can't see me online. So it's never really about two-parent income. It's about stealing the children from the family. It's about making it so that the government and the schools were in charge of your children. Because if you've got nobody at home to raise and rear the children, then who's going to do it? Nobody but the government and the media and the TV, and now the internet is stuff as well. So that's a very serious situation. And we know with the cost of goods now, you need at least two incomes, almost two full-time incomes in most places, especially in places like Rochester, to actually live, more or less live comfortable with children. And this is a serious conversation that not a lot of people want to have. And we need to be having this conversation because it's dreadfully serious and it's extremely important. And I don't know why more people won't talk about the importance of comprehensive households. But, you know, it might just be too much like right. So if you're following us online, please make sure that you drop a comment, drop a thumbs up, and I'll do my best to pop it up on the screen. I'm sorry, you guys, if I can't pop it up on the screen right now because the thing is doing weird stuff. Kevin says, yes, it is the South Wedge. Okay, gotcha. But back to the conversation on families. Hit the like button, hit the share, and get this out to more people because we have to have these serious conversations. So the government and the people in power in the industry, you know how people say, oh, well, the corporations are a problem. They're greedy. They just want more profits or whatever. Well, we see that now today where abortion is so cool, right? That's the hip and rad thing to do. Okay, that's what you do now. Just have an abortion. You get pregnant, have an abortion. Abortions for everyone, right? Jobs giving away free abortions. Jobs aren't giving away free abortions because they care about you. They're giving away free abortions so you don't have to call off for children being sick at school. So you don't have to call off for parent-teacher conferences. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing it out of the kindness of their hearts, offering abortions, but we can't talk about that. And that's a serious conversation, which we're going to bring that back up in a couple of minutes here. But make sure you hit the like and hit the heart button and share this out. Now, as we go along this line, having this conversation about the importance of comprehensive families in relation to the amount of income that you need to make to live comfortably right now, which I was reading a document the other day that said in New York State right now, you need to make $270,000 to be living comfortably. That is absolutely insane to me because the median income in my area is about $30,000. And I think the average isn't far off from that. It's like $35,000. So this is a very serious, and you guys can do the math. You don't got to be a mathematician. That's a lot less. That is a lot less. That's about $230,000 less. You know, like that's crazy. That's a crazy difference. So when people say, oh, well, if the struggle is real, the struggle is real. And if you need $270,000 to live, you know, and be actually feel comfortable, you figure a decent salary, right? Right now, a real solidly decent salary is probably going to be about 50 something grand, 56 grand or something like that. And what they say is by studies is that $75,000 is this break even point where people start to feel, okay, I can be a little bit relaxed and might have some semblance of life. But most people aren't making $75,000 a year. And then if you have kids, so let's just put it into perspective. If the median income where I am is about $30,000, so let's say you've got two parents in the home, right? 30,000 plus 30,000 is 60,000, right? That's not enough of nothing. Now let's just pretend you've got a $75,000 income, which is about the one that they say is where people can start feeling a little bit okay. 75 plus 75, you're talking about what, $150,000, which is still $120,000 less than 270, which they say is what you need to live comfortably in New York State. So this is serious, and it's so disgusting, man. It makes you want to spit. It's a problem, but we can't have these real conversations. So when we're talking and people are like, oh, well, I don't need a man or whatever the case is, who are you lying to? Who are you lying to? Well, I don't need a man. You do. And then if you look at the the Bible, the whole point of marriage is so that you can have kids, so you can have children together, and so that you can support each other. The woman is supposed to be the support for the man, you know? And I think that this is something that's very much so lost in society right now because most women want to be men. They want to be all masculine and stuff like that. And then some females will be like, well, because I don't have a man, or because other men act feminine, that I need to act like this. No, you don't need to act like that. That is nowhere in the world is that a requirement. That's something that you've taken upon yourself, that you've decided that you want to do because that's been popularized by the media and by the music industry. And then we look at it. You look at the last two generations. Let's say Gen Z and the millennial generations. Who raised those? Largely, they come from single parent homes. Okay, and I know that's not the gross aggregate, but it is a large number. Largely single female homes. And that's crazy. Because the fact of the matter is you got a whole bunch of single females raising men with no men in their lives. How is a man supposed to learn to be a man? Can't learn to be a man from a woman. So then the same women that raise all these men out here acting effeminate are like, oh, men don't act like men anymore. You raised them. You did that. You did that. That's on you. Because you said that you could do just as good as a man and you didn't need no man. Well, you might not have needed a man, but your child did. Your child did. And what about your child? Or maybe that's a conversation that's too much like right that people don't want to have. Hey, man, I'm just here to share the information with you. It's up to you if you want to receive it. Make sure you hit the like button and the share button. Drop a comment if you can. OK, and even if it's just a thumbs up or a hey, I'm watching, or American flag or a smiley face, drop a comment. Every comment helps kick the algorithm to get it out to more people. And we got to have these important conversations because you're not going to hear them anywhere else. So back to that dynamic where they've pushed this concept of a woman doesn't need a man in her life, right? That is a lie. Like it baffles me that the same people that say that corporations are evil and the government is bad and it doesn't have any good intentions for you are falling right into the trap of the corporations and the government. Because it's big daddy government that's in charge of everything right now. Okay? Look at the education system, complete trash. And the education system was started by John Rockefeller, okay, again, for devious purposes based on the Austrian model of teaching freaking factory workers. Crazy. Like, but can we have those type of conversations? And then if you look at the desks in this classroom to this day, we still line them up in rows and have them at desks as if they were working in factories. And we can't have that conversation. Like, these are serious conversations. But now daddy government runs everything and is providing for the woman too, because you don't need a man, so now you need daddy government. And then there will be women out there that say, oh, well, I've got a good job. I don't need the government. The government's not paying. Okay, fine. That's fair. But look at the collapse of our society. Right now, one of the biggest conversations is them possibly cutting Medicaid and Medicare, which and Social Security, which Trump has said that he's not going to do. But in New York State, Kathy Hochul, our governor, the high priestess Kathy, she cut Medicaid twice. Nobody said boo. Medicare, excuse me, I don't remember which one. I think it's Medicare is the one that's also funded by the state largely. So, but she cut it twice. And we're under complete Democrat authoritarian rule in New York State. The Democrats run everything. But the Democrats are the people yelling that Trump is going to cut Medicare. But she's already cut it here in our Democrat state twice, which has been authorized by the state Senate and the state Assembly, both run by Democrats. So explain it to me like I'm five. Make it make sense to me. But I only bring this up because the issue with them is that they're growingly at a fast pace about to become insolvent, because we do not have enough children that are working to actually pay into the system for the future. Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, disability, all of it is a giant Ponzi scheme. As a matter of fact, the Ponzi scheme isn't good enough. It is a pyramid scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme too, but it's definitely a pyramid scheme. And what's happened is we've grown to have an inverted pyramid where the elders on the top that are collecting, it's much more of them than the people that are on the bottom that are working. And that's a serious issue. And then you'll have people that'll say, oh, well, the illegal aliens could make that better. No, they cannot. No, they cannot. For so many multiple reasons. But for the number one reason, they're going to get old and they're going to be drawing it too. And they still won't have enough babies to actually flip the bill for it in the future. So we're going to be in a worse off situation. The problem is that if we can actually start promoting comprehensive households, like a father and a mother in the house, then we can actually restore our nation and restore our future. But those are serious conversations that people don't want to have. Let's get to a couple of these comments here. Let's see. We got 2 comments. Patricia has a comment. Patricia says, she's saying this. I'm reading what she said. Just realized I'm not making enough money, but I kind of make a go of it. Exactly. Right? Like, it's a struggle if you do not have a partner in a household. It's a struggle. This is why they've tried to get you to get rid of partners and that you don't need a partner to be with you in the household. And it's a whole complete fabrication and a lie that they've sold to us. Forever in the history of the world, we have always had partners. You know, we have always had a husband and a wife. And the question is, why? Even if they were childless, because it's not just about the money. It's also about the support. It's also about the support. But those are conversations that are too much like right. Let's see. I think Kevin had a comment also. Let's see. Kevin says Medicare is only federal funded. Medicaid is state and federal funded. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. That's what I'm talking about. You knew what I was talking about. Thank you for the difference. So Medicaid, I was right. So if you're watching this online, make sure you hit the share button and get this out to your friends and your family. Hey, even get it out to your enemies. Hit the retweet button. It don't cost you nothing to hit the retweet button. And if you guys can, please donate to our show. We're working on getting more airtime. Airtime is not free, so we can have these important conversations with you that you need to hear right here in your ear. Okay, so if you could donate $10, $25, $50, we're working on raising about $50 to $100 a show. Please make sure you go donate on Cash App, $MW Real, the number 1. That's $MW Real, the digit 1. Or you can go on PayPal and Venmo and donate at Marcus C. Williams. So at Marcus C. Williams on PayPal or Venmo. We also have givesendgo.com/Marcus C. Williams. So make sure you go drop a quick donation there. Now, as we continue along this conversation, this very, very important conversation, I want to remind you that if we're not talking about shoring up our society and protecting our society for the future, we are not having the right level of conversation. The best way to do that is to make sure that we're promoting comprehensive, healthy adult relationships and wedlock. That's the whole point. Now, I believe it's the numbers are ridiculous. Like, people are just getting divorced so quickly. It's out of control. And I don't want to give you the wrong numbers, but it's very, very high. I mean, it's so crazy high. Even like 76% of lesbians get divorced in like the first 4 years. That's crazy. So, I mean, but I guess that shows you that it's not the men. The men aren't the problem. Maybe there needs to be a reanalysis of that. But it's really serious, you know. And then we've got it where a lot of men are not getting married anymore because they don't see it as being worthwhile. You know, and then you got the women that are out here, and now all of these people are promoting polygamy. Now you should have more than one partner and all of this and all of that. You can't have a stable one partner relationship. How are you going to have multiple partners? You tripping. Then y'all not married. It's not like y'all trying to do the Mormon thing or do an African thing. Y'all not married. Y'all not just involved with each other. Then y'all be on some old bisexual nonsense. Okay, because that's what it is. Because this continued gender bending nonsense, which has been propagated into our society, that is destroying our society, eroding the fabric of our society, is pushed by the news, the media, and the last administration in the White House as well. See, it goes much deeper than just, they'll be like, oh, acceptance and tolerance and stuff like that. They don't want tolerance and acceptance. That left years ago. And those people that said that it was going to be a slippery slope, they were never wrong. It's not just it wasn't just a slippery slope when they started to get what do you call them? Oh my goodness, what's the word for them? Oh my goodness, those things that aren't marriages, right? You know what I'm talking about. It'll come to me in a minute. But they were like, oh yeah, we want that, and we don't want to actually get married. And then they got that. And then they were like, oh yeah, we want to get married now. And then they got that. And now it's like, oh yeah, it's okay for you to bang your dog in the park. How did that happen? How did that happen? How did we get this far? But this is because it's always been a lie the whole time. You know, and people are like, well, that's not about me. That's not me. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, we know that that's not what everybody that is gay or whatever wants, you know? But the fact of the matter is, what happened is these people that were behind pushing this alphabet agenda, right? These people that were behind pushing this alphabet agenda did everything that they could to hijack the gay agenda and turn it into alphabetism, which is where we are now, where all of a sudden it's okay to bang your dog in a park. Now, I'm specifically talking about a number of different issues, and you're like, oh, Marcus, you're being, what do you call it? Hyperbolistic. I'm making up words. It's not a real word, and if it is, it's the right one. It's like hyperbole, but it's not. I'm being dead serious. So there was this lady that was recently arrested for banging her dog on the internet. Now, bestiality is illegal, but these alphabet people are trying to push to make it legal. And you might say, Marcus, I identify as an alphabet person and I'm not pushing that. You might not be pushing that, but the people behind this agenda and this nonsense are. They're pushing that, and people don't see that. Okay, that's why there's a big push to separate the T and stuff from the LG, from the LGMB. Why? Because one is a sexual orientation and a preference, and the other is a gender identity. It is not the same. But a couple of years ago, and I'm going to come back to the people banging dogs in a second because it's ridiculous to me that now this is being propagated as normal. So years ago, a couple years ago, this is the Gay Men's Choir of LA. You know how they'll say, oh, well, we're not trying to convert your children or trying to make your children gay. They dropped a whole song talking about we'll convert your children. That's a real song. Go look it up. The Gay Men's Choir of LA will convert your children. Like, you can't even make this stuff up. Like, they're telling you what they're about now. And some people will say, oh, well, Marcus, that's not me. See, but it's these people that need to be rebuked. This is the problem. You know, like, because if you just let it go, this is where it goes. Now they got these people promoting boy love and girl love, which is nothing but pedophilia. And we can't have those conversations because those conversations are too much like real and too much like right. When can we have those conversations? It's very, very serious what's going on out here and what's being pushed. But back to the people banging dogs, because this is something that's going on that they're trying to normalize. They've got the couple years ago, 2 years ago, maybe, this teacher, and you can look this up. Don't take my word for it. As I like to say, don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. And go look it up. So there was this guy, I believe it was Penn State or Pennsylvania University, one of the two, and he's a teacher there, and he was caught banging his dog in the woods. Like, this is a real thing. You can go look it up. And then when they caught him, he's like, oh, it's normal. I'm just blowing off steam. because this is what they're pushing slowly, slowly, slowly. And this is this nonsense with these furries now, right? Because originally a furry was just some person that liked to get it on in a mascot suit. And that's changed completely. Now it's not that. Now it's these people who identify as animals. I guess they call them therians or whatever. It's hard to keep up. Everything's changing day after day. It's insanity. So they got these people that identify as animals, and now they're talking about their cats and dogs in the school system and all of this nonsense. And that's okay. And then we as people who actually know that people are people got to play along with it, and they want us to participate in their psychosis? Absolutely not. I'm not about to participate in your psychosis. That's insane. You're insane. Something's wrong with you. Okay, you're either playing with me or you're legitimately crazy. One of the two. It's only one of the two options. You know you're not no animal. Listen, look, here, it's simple to me. If you identify as an animal and you're a human, let's see how far you're going to take it. Because I'd like to euthanize a whole bunch of them. Okay? If that's what you're going to, if you're an animal and you out here acting a rabid fool, you get euthanized. Y'all out here acting a rabid fool. Maybe you need to be euthanized. How serious you going to take it? How much dog food you going to eat? You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is a real serious conversation that's detrimental to our society. And this is because there have been no strong men in the household. Only weak men that have been propagated by weak females with this mindset of emotionality and everything is right. And now you can't speak up for anything because if you speak up, they're going to drag you. We got to speak up now. This insanity continues. And now, like I said, they're propagating bestiality as being normal. It's disgusting. Makes you want to spit. But here's the problem. As they try to normalize bestiality, which is crazy, right? Okay, it's crazy. It's not normal. Bestiality is not normal. They're also trying to normalize pedophilia. Okay, and that's crazy too. They're also trying to normalize that. They're talking about they got TED Talks on this. TED Talks, it's mind-blowing. You can go look it up. They're talking about, oh yeah, boy love and girl love. That's what they like to call it. They even got their little symbols and stuff. Go look up the symbols and go down that rabbit hole. That's a whole nother crazy thing. But they had a TED Talk. The lady is like, oh yeah, it's normal and it's okay for people to be attracted to very small children and stuff like that. That's not okay. Something's wrong. Them people ain't right in the head, as they used to say. You are not right in the head if you're attracted to prepubescent children. Something is wrong there. Now, you got these people that are trying to push this pedophilia that are attracted to prepubescent children that are also trying to push the use of hormones on small children. Hello, somebody, come on now. Come on now. Talk to me, people. Talk to me. Drop a comment, hit the share button, hit the retweet button, hit the heart, and hit the thumbs up. Because these are the important conversations that we need to have. And I really appreciate all of you as you guys are going on this journey with me, listening to The Divide with Marcus C. Williams on WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. We're here every Monday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. So make sure you share and get this out there. And if you're on the radio listening to us, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies up the street to tune in every Monday. And this is a show that they need. So as we go down this road together, we need to have these important conversations because nobody's having this conversation. Nobody's having this conversation. Now they're talking about, oh, well, we should give the pedophiles little dolls so that they can have sex with the little sex dolls that are shaped like children. What? What? Hello? Let me get real close to the microphone. Make sure y'all can hear me. What is it that they want to do? They want to give pedophiles children sex dolls? Is this what we're doing in society right now? Is this what's being pushed? And if you look at the people who are running and pushing this nonsense out there, they're all women. It's all women. We got to be very, very concerned about what's happening here. Okay? Because all of these women are leading our society astray. And where are the women to check these women? They're not checking them. The other women ain't checking these women. It's a problem. But there ain't no men checking them either. Because where have all the strong men gone? Because they've either lost all their testosterone because they're putting chemicals in the water making the frogs gay. It's funny, you know, people would say that as a conspiracy joke. Come to find out, it's a whole serious fact between the chemicals in things like mifepristone and what's the one with a T? It's slipping my mind right now. Tarazine or something like that, I forget. And all of these other birth control pills and stuff like that, they seep into the water and then they create estrogen-inducing patterns in the water system. So make sure you drink water and stay hydrated, but get filtered water, y'all. Reverse osmosis, this stuff crazy. Reverse osmosis, distillation, like it's crazy, the chemicals and stuff that's in the water, and it's really in there. But we got a bunch of weak men that have become soft because they've been told that masculinity is toxic and don't be a strong man. And now they say that exercising is white supremacy and eating meat is a problem and all of this other crazy stuff that we've done for tens of thousands of years. Okay. You know, it's insane. It's absolutely insane what's being pushed into our society right now. But we can't have the conversations about it because if you have these conversations, people want to try to shut you down and shut you up. And I'm not with it. You're not about to tell me, no, I'm not. Someday I'm going to die. I'm going to go meet our Father in heaven. And Lord willing, he says, well done, my good and faithful servant. Okay, I'm doing my best here, but to let this insanity go by, and there's so many people out here call themselves Christians that just let this stuff go like, oh yeah, it's okay. It's not okay. And again, it comes from the breakdown of the family. You look at the Bible, and the Bible is very explicit on this, you know? It's what does it say? A man who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? But it's also vice versa. Like women need husbands. It's crazy. And this whole sex before marriage nonsense that's been pushed into our society, again, this is like a 50-year thing. It's not even like a historical thing. This just started to happen. Like, it's been decaying and eroding our society. And everybody's like, free love. I love to have intercourse and stuff like that with other people and stuff like that. But you just out here just flopping down on everybody. Like, that's what we're doing right now. Like, this is okay. Like, nobody cares about protecting their chastity or their virtue anymore. I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand you like sex as much as the other person. Okay. We're not going to sit here and play like that's not a enjoyable experience for the most part, you know, like, but with the erosion of the concept of family and the continued push for things like free love that came out under the hippies, which was all pushed by the CIA. You can go look that up. Go look that up. I want you to go look that up. How in the 70s, all that hippy dippy nonsense was pushed by the CIA and by the naval intelligence. Go look that up. That'll send you down a rabbit hole. Okay. Because the evil people at the top of the pyramid are trying to collapse all of our society because they don't want us to have children. They don't want us to have strong men, and they don't want us to have a strong society because if we do, then the people are going to be more difficult to control. But that's a serious conversation that they don't want you to have. And we need to have that serious conversation. And when a man doesn't have a woman or a woman doesn't have a man, it's really not that good. It's really not that good. And then you see people miserable. You know why they're miserable? Because they don't have a partner. Well, how many people you done been ran through by? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another conversation that we don't want to have. Like, is there a limit on how many people you should have sex with before you're married? I'd say that the answer is 0. If not, the science says that anything more than 2, you're 65% more likely to get divorced. That's crazy. If you've had more than 2 partners, you're 65% more likely to get divorced. That is a serious problem. But we don't have those serious conversations because that'd be too much like right. Now they're coming out with the science, and the science is saying, you ever had a friend that says, oh, your child looks like your ex or whatever? and you haven't been messing with them or whatever the case is, but they don't look like your actual child's father or child's whatever, you know what I'm saying? So come to find out, science is saying, yeah, that happens because the genetic material that they leave inside you stays in there for decades. So it integrates itself with your eggs and stuff like that, and it carries on character traits from other partners that you've had, even in some cases, hereditary diseases. And they're not even the actual father of the children. Like, this is the craziness. This is the craziness that the science is finally catching up with the Bible, you know, but now we're finding this stuff out and we need to have these conversations, but people don't want to have these conversations because they're like, well, it's okay. This is okay. Who told you that is okay? Who told you that? Well, I told myself that. You ain't told yourself nothing. Shut up. The media told you that. The music industry told you that. Maybe you saw what your friends and other family members was doing, told you that. But you ain't told yourself nothing. You didn't make that decision yourself. You made that decision freely. You saw that it was being propagated, so you're like, okay, well, that's okay. So we might as well do it. The same thing has happened with what do you call it? Polyamory? I don't even know what you call it anymore, right? Because it's not really, it's not polygamy at all. And it's not even, it's polyamory, and I forget the other one, polyandry, you know? So these are important conversations that we need to have, but they're not being had. We're working on raising about $25 to $50. Please make sure you go on the webs on the Cash App, donate $MW Real, the number 1. That's $MW Real, the digit 1. Or you can donate on PayPal and Venmo at Marcus C. Williams. So drop a donation real quick. $10, $25, $50 if you can. And let's get back into this conversation. So as we have this very important conversation, the breakdown of the family has led to a number of issues, including increased diseases spreading everywhere. And go talk to the Department of Health where you live about some of these diseases that are out there right now. That's a whole nother crazy thing. So, but we can't actually talk about that or anything like that. And these are important conversations to have. So make sure you hit the share button and drop a comment if you want to become part of the conversation. We'll pop your comment up on the screen. So as I get ready to wrap up with this, I want to go back to them pushing bestiality on people. The bestiality and the pedophilia that's being pushed now is the next step. It's the next step, you guys. It's the next step. And you'll say, well, why are they pushing bestiality and pedophilia? Because it's Satan. You understand what I'm saying? And you say, oh, Marcus, that's a bunch of stuff. No, it's not. No, it's not. When you look at the history of the collapse of all the different societies and stuff like that, how did that happen? Well, they started to get into some serious bestiality and pedophilia and stuff like that. And they didn't know, they started to get into gender issues where men wanted to be women and all types of crazy stuff. And society started to slowly collapse. And then all fast, all at once. Because it was normalized. It's not that any of this stuff really wasn't happening. Like, we know that stuff happens. But when it becomes normalized on a societal level, that's a problem. That is an absolute problem. And then we wonder what's happening to all these children that are, it's coming out that all of these teachers are banging these children. We just had a teacher, I forget where it was, this Asian lady, and she was going to jail for like 25 years now for having, she was actually, crazy thing, she was actually nominated as Teacher of the Year and won Teacher of the Year. And now she's going to jail because she was banging the kids. Like the small children, not like the teenagers. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. This is crazy. This is what's going on. And she's not the only one. There's been a number of them up here in upstate New York where it's happened in the last couple of months too. And we're talking about females, right? Like, so the concept is oh, well, it's men. No, man, it's females. And then the men can't talk about it because if you're a man and you try to talk about that stuff, oh man, you get shut down, or you're effeminate or whatever the case is. They'll try to talk you down or whatever, or say, oh, well, you wanted it or whatever the case is. All of this stuff, which is crazy, right? Because if you say that a woman wanted it, then it's a problem. You can't say that. But if it's a man, it's okay to say that. Crazy double standard there. Crazy double standard. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But these are the conversations that people don't want to have. And this is why it's very important that we have these conversations, because nobody else is going to. Anyway, we really have to restore the family unit, because if we don't, society is going to completely collapse. Now they've got this whole thing that they're trying to push. As you guys know, I told you we come back to the abortion thing. As you know, in New York State especially, we've got late-term abortion. So you can kill a baby all the way up to after birth. So this is a very serious thing. They tried to pass a law the other day, not the other day, but like last year, a year before, in New York State, where if a baby was alive after you tried to commit an abortion, a late-term abortion procedure, that you had to try to keep the baby alive. So essentially, if they're born and they come out alive, you have to try to keep them alive. So that did not go through, because they don't care about the children. They don't care about the babies. They want to kill all the babies. They'll tell you right off the bat. They say, oh, man, abortion should be free for everyone all the time, and everybody should get abortions. Why is that? Why should people be getting all these abortions? Why should we not be talking about the importance of comprehensive households? Why should we not be talking about the importance of adult relationships? Why should we not be talking about that instead of everybody jumping around getting abortions? Then again, even though all of the different things for not having kids and stuff like that, the different medical treatments, medical procedures and stuff like that, even though there's like 50, 60 of them, like, and condoms, like, you're encouraging abortion. Like, is this what we're doing? Like, we are falling as a society, and people are pushing this. This is being pushed. Okay. Society didn't ask for this. Society did not need this, but it's being pushed. Then you listen to a lot of people say, oh, yeah, well, abortions are good. Well, how many abortions have you had? Well, I haven't had any. Well, then shut up. What are you even talking about? But this is the same argument they try to say with men. Well, men shouldn't have any decision in whether a baby lives or dies. What? Are you dumb? You just think that people are out here creating babies asexually? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not real. Like, that's not real. So it's the importance of a full conversation that we need to have here right now. This is very, very important. But like I said, they're trying to kill up all the babies, even if it's late term, instead of promoting actual comprehensive families and the importance of having a two-parent household and the importance of healthy adult relationships, because that would have been too much like right. Because that would have been too much like keeping our society stable. Now, I want to point out something very important in this conversation here, that blacks had the highest rate of marriages up and through the Johnson administration, Lyndon B. Johnson, till he destroyed the black family with the Great Society Project. So I'm not going to jump into that the way I want to right now, but we're talking about over 85% marriage rate. Like, it's crazy. Like, but that's way high, and society had a higher marriage rate the whole time before then. So, but that is a real, true fact. And now the fact of the matter is because of what Lyndon B. Johnson did with the deindustrialization of city centers and the expansion of social welfare programs and CPS, he crushed the urban family, specifically the black family, because that's what it was focused on. But we can't have that conversation. So then you get all of the people out there that are mad and say, oh, well, this is that, and this is culture, and this is that. First of all, this whole, I don't know what you want to call it, this whole aggressive, angry, angstful culture has got nothing to do with black society or black culture. That's not a part of our culture at all. That's something that's been propagated and cultivated in the last like 35, 40 years. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that is new behavior. That's not something that is in relation. But people like throw around, oh, that's culture. Oh, that's culture. No, it's not. Who the heck are you talking to? Like, you sound dumb. But it's that subversive racism that allow people to say stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, well, I see the videos online of all the black people doing that, as if white people don't do that. Are you serious? Because the concept is that we don't live in America. Like, that isn't how Americans behave. Like, that is an American character trait. That's not a black character trait. That's an American character trait. I mean, you're talking about the Irish mob, the Italian mob. Like, are we serious? Like, is this not, like, do we not have the history, like, before the last 30 years? Like, what are you even talking about? You're talking about a country where up until less than 100 years ago, you could shoot somebody in the street and have a duel, like, which I think they should bring back, honestly. And in Texas, you can have mutual combat, which I think that they should have here in New York State. But that's a whole separate conversation. Like, but because they try to act like our country and our society isn't the way our country and society is, and they try to pigeonhole people in specific racial demographics in relation to that, when that's not the specific racial demographics, no matter how much they want to make it like that, but it's because everybody wants to feel superior to somebody else. That's what it is. And it is also a lot pushed by the media and on social media to cultivate people's ways of thinking, but really it's to destabilize our society and to promote racism and division. That's all it's about. You know, we got a comment here. Patricia says something. Patricia says, only God can call a baby home. Society has degenerated. Pray for the babies. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And as we're having this conversation, that's why I brought that up to begin with. As we're having this conversation, there has been this concept that has been pushed out there that, oh, well, the people in the urban areas need to have more abortions. And that's black people, right, that are largely in the urban areas. And if you look at every real big, there's a specific name for them that Planned Parenthood has. I forget what they're called. But if you look at the Planned Parenthood clinics, the majority of the bigger ones are within 2 miles walking distance from black neighborhoods. So this is a very serious conversation. Now, to point that out, I use that as a springboard for my next thing, which is this. When you listen to these leftists talk right now about abortion, you have to listen and then listen, okay? If you only got one good ear, listen to them twice in the same ear, okay? But you really got to listen. The way that they talk about it is not only reprehensible, but very problematic, because they say stuff like, oh, well, people in poverty and that are struggling shouldn't have kids. What? What? People in poverty and struggling shouldn't have kids? That's what you got to say? Like, listen, I need you to listen to how that sounds. All the poor people should kill their children. That's what's being said. That's what they're saying. If you're poor, you should kill your children. This is what's being said. Now they've got this thing that they're calling maids, and I've warned about this for some years, and I did a Elephant in the Room episode on this. I believe in this either in the beginning of this year or the end of last year. Medically aided induced death, which is maids, and I've talked about it before. I've talked about what they're doing in Canada with it and all the craziness. But now in New York State, just last week, they passed that as a law in New York State. So now that is a thing in New York State. This is a very serious issue. And people be like, why? It's just for the elderly. And if they're dying, they should be able to kill themselves. What? Listen, I need you to, the words, I need you to listen to those words. If they're dying, they should just kill themselves. What? Like, that is very dangerous reasoning. But again, I'll take you to talking points from people that are pushing for this type of stuff. They'll say, oh, well, now more than ever, there is a large majority of elderly that are in poverty. Hold on now. What did these people say about poverty before? They said that people that are poor shouldn't have to struggle, and the poor people shouldn't have children because they shouldn't have to bring their children up and struggle. I promise you that the next thing that's going to come from these people is expanding this so-called medically aided induced death, okay, to people that are in poverty, that are elderly. because the vast majority of the elderly are in poverty. It's something like over 67%. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I know it's over 67%. And it's scary because what they're trying to do is get rid of the elderly. You got to wake up and see what they're doing. They started with the babies. Now they're going with the elderly. I'm not saying that they're Hitler, but I'm saying that they're Hitler 100%. This is euthanasia, okay, part dose. This is exactly what Hitler did. Then they're going to tell you that, oh, well, if you're crippled or lame or you've got a developmental disability or you've had an accident, oh, well, maybe you should kill yourself. What? No, you can't say that. Well, you can say that, but you shouldn't be promoting that. And the best story, I can tell you a lot of stories. I got a lot of stories from people I know in Canada, but the best story I can share with you from them, and I encourage you to go look this up because it's so crazy, you know. But it was, and you might have heard this if you follow me, because this story is just so crazy, I can't help but share it. Excuse my language, I'm unable to help but share it. So there was a lady who was a para-athlete, you know, the people that do all of the athletic stuff, but they have like some sort of a handicap or whatever, handy-capable people. So in Canada, her stair lift broke. She called in, and because Canada has nationalized medicine, you know, because everybody wants there to be free healthcare for everyone. Anyway, it takes forever for you to get seen by a doctor or go to a doctor or an appointment. I can tell you a story about a friend who had to have part of their foot cut off because they ended up having, what do you call it, sepsis? Okay, eat away at their foot because they couldn't get to a doctor in Canada because the appointments were out so far and they didn't have the money to go to a private practitioner. The whole thing's crazy. Anyway, so this para-athlete, her stair lift broke. So she called in to try to get another stair lift, and they're like, oh, well, it's going to be like a long time out, right? Like they said, essentially like a year or more. And they said, oh, well, because of that, your quality of life will be diminished. Have you considered medically aided induced death? What? Because her stair lift is broken? So disgusting, it makes you want to spit. But it's crazy. And we can't have these serious conversations because people don't want to have these real conversations. And this is the problem. We need to have these conversations. I see somebody just dropped a comment. Hit the share button, hit the like button. I'm going to do my best to pop up your comments if you drop them in there. I'm going to pull up this comment. Let's see what we got. Patricia says, a lot of people I've talked to about aided in dying agree with it. I'm shocked that people I love don't see what is going on. So here's the problem with that. People don't see what's going on because what's being sold to them is a false bill of goods. And they don't listen to what these people have been saying and the way that they talk about it. And if we're not having a real conversations, we're doing a disservice. I try to tell people that you got to listen to what these people say and how they're talking about it. They're like, oh, well, it's compassionate to do that. Yeah, but you are the same people that say that it's compassionate to kill babies because they're going to grow up in poverty. Listen to how you sound. That's the same words that you use for that. You know, so these are the very scary, scary things. And they'll say, oh, well, it'll be limited and it will be few and far between. Didn't they say that about abortions? And I believe, what was it, last year? Last year, the year before last, in Monroe County, the county that I live in, we had more deaths than we had births because there were so many abortions. Make it make sense to me, y'all. Make it make sense. Okay, this is a very serious problem. A very serious problem. But again, with this medically aided induced death, they're trying to trick people to think that it's about one thing when really it's about something else. And now that this law is passed, I don't know if it'll ever be changed. It's just going to go down and get worse and worse and worse. And then people are like, oh, well, yeah, I'm so fed up with New York. I'm moving out of the state to go somewhere. There's no fight anywhere else. The fight is here. If New York falls, then it's coming everywhere and you won't be able to stop it. All you've done is bought some time and not that much. Okay, because look at what happened in the West Coast with California. California collapsed Colorado, Washington, Nevada, New Mexico. Like, seriously? And y'all thinking that you're going to be able to go somewhere? Now, Tennessee is basically collapsed. Okay, did you see the mayor of Nashville the other day talking about the illegal aliens? Man, y'all, these people done lost their rabid mind. Okay, but this is because they all get this far left ideology that's very destructive, right? And I could do a whole episode on the ideology in and of itself, but this is serious. This is very, very serious. Make sure you take 2 seconds and share this out on your page, on your friend's page, and wherever else. And make sure you hit the like button. I see a lot of people watching, and I got some likes. Hit some more likes. And if you're not following and subscribe, hit the follow and subscribe button. So let's get back to it. As we have this conversation about the medically aided induced death, I promise you that they're going to expand this, and it won't even take that long. Mark my words, another year, 2 years maybe, they'll start saying, oh, well, if you're in poverty or if you're struggling, you should be able to have you should be able to kill yourself. Watch, watch, watch. Mark my words, bro. Save this video, mark it down. Less than 2 years to this date. That's my, put that on, somebody put up the parlay for that. Less than 2 years to this day, that's what they're going to say. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I bet money on that, and I don't even make bets because I don't like to lose money. Hold on one second. Kevin says something. Kevin says, speak to council is this Thursday. Got to call in to speak in advance. Absolutely right, Kevin. So Kevin is talking about what I talk about every day. I encourage you guys to get active and get involved locally. If you are in the city of Rochester and you're tired of the nonsense that's going on, please sign up for the city council speak to council. It's this Thursday. You can call in ahead of time, the city council, and get signed up. Okay? Thank you for sharing that, Kevin. So yeah. So as we have this conversation, I'm telling you right now, mark it down. It's going to happen. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say, oh, well, if you're poor and you're old, or if you're handicapped and you're old, if you're sick and you're old, you should just consider medically aided induced death. I guarantee you. And I bet you, here's another bet. And I bet you I'll give this one a little more extensive time. This one's 3 years. Okay, till you start seeing commercials for it on the television. I guarantee you it'll probably be less than that, but I'm going to say 3 years on that. Okay, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. Drink water, stay hydrated. This whole thing is insane what's going on right now. It really, really is. And I could talk about this thing for another 2 hours, but we're going to leave that portion there. And I want to get into a couple of other topics. So Trump is out here going at it hard. Oh boy, man, he's getting all types of stuff done, isn't he? And people, I know people don't like him, but you don't even like the causes that you supported before because it's him? Like, that's crazy to me. Excuse me. So now Trump's working on a peace deal with Israel and to make Palestine its own place, right? Like officially, you know, like that's protected. So that's a whole crazy thing in and of itself, right? So why aren't the leftists and the anti-American terrorist jihadists that are so like free Palestine very happy and supportive of this initiative? Because they just want to terrorize people and have a reason to act up, that it's never been about Palestine, that they don't actually care. Then you have the whole issue with Ukraine, and now Trump's been working on trying to get that deal solidified. I don't think that we got a good deal out of it. Okay, I don't like Zelensky, not even a little bit. He is a traitor to his own people. He's got many of his own people massacred intentionally, and he's gotten all his men killed off. And you really have to start to wonder and ask yourself, is there a more devious purpose there since all of the Ukrainian men have been essentially killed off? So it's like after World War II, when so many men died, there were more women than men. So this is a serious problem for Ukraine. So who are they going to move into those territories then, right? Who are they going to use to repopulate those territories? Or are they going to make it a fun fiesta for all of the wealthy people to bang all of the Ukrainian women? Like, what are we doing right now? Nobody's going to talk about that. Nobody wants to take that into consideration. These people are deviants, perverts, and they'll exploit everybody, men, women, and children, however they can, because it's all about control and power. So we'll see what ends up happening there. I'm sure we'll be seeing that in the next year or two come up as a conversation topic. It's going to be crazy. But then we have them now trying to talk about they're going to have a 30-day ceasefire with Moscow. Now, Moscow proposed a 30-day ceasefire with them like a year ago. Now, if you don't know and you're not familiar with the whole situation over there, Moscow has been trying to have direct negotiations with Ukraine for the last like almost 5 years, even before the whole war was launched. So that's a whole nother thing. But or the special military exercise or whatever they want to call it, but that's a conversation we can't really have. And then they had all of you look this up because don't forget the past. Okay. Look this up. So Ukraine was going around having all of these peace talks with all of these other countries. How are you having peace talks with all these other countries? They're not even the one that you're fighting against. You sound dumb. What? And then they didn't want to let Russia into the peace talks. How are you not going to let the people that they're at war with into the peace talks? You're not trying to have no peace talks. You're trying to have war talks. Like this crazy. But we can't have that conversation. So anyway, last month, Russia tried to do a 30-day ceasefire again. And you might remember Zelensky's like, oh, I don't trust them. I've never trusted them. I can't trust them. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So we're not doing a ceasefire with them because they can't be trusted. And the day that they announced that ceasefire with Russia, Ukraine blew up one of their generals inside Moscow. What? They blew up one of their generals that day that Moscow had tried to put forth a peace deal for a ceasefire. Crazy how we don't even talk about that. How many of you guys out there knew that even happened? Probably didn't know that they did that. So, but these are the conversations that we can't have. And it's a very serious problem. And now Ukraine is like, oh, well, we should do a 30-day peace deal with Russia. Russia's like, no, we don't want a 30-day peace deal. We want a peace treaty. We don't want a ceasefire. We want a peace treaty. Like everybody's like, oh, a ceasefire. Ceasefire is trash. You need a peace treaty. Ceasefire means you're still at war. But people have gotten their minds that, oh, that's an okay thing. No, you want a peace treaty. Okay? You want an armistice, subsistence of arms. Okay? That's what you want. But this isn't a real conversation because we can't have any real conversations. People don't want to have those real conversations. This is a problem. So Russia's like, we need an actual peace treaty. We don't want a 30-day ceasefire because we tried that with y'all before and y'all wasn't trying to have one. And we'll see where that goes. Then we got the whole India-Pakistan thing that the U.S. just helped bring to an end also. Honestly, I told y'all before, I was heavily invested in that engagement right there. I was really hoping it kind of went on a little while longer and got big enough to pull China in because I feel like somebody needs to give China a bloody nose. But that's a whole separate conversation. And if it was somebody to give China a bloody nose, I don't think anybody better would be than India. Plus, messing up China's infrastructure projects that they have in Pakistan is something that I am very fond of because China is our enemy, and it's about time that America woke up and saw that. So that's a very serious thing to me. Anyway, so Trump is out here negotiating peace deals with them, so that's kind of cool, and that's awesome. But isn't anybody giving him his flowers? No. And that's crazy to me. Like he's doing something. He's pushing a thing. It's called, if you guys remember his first term, he pushed a thing called the Most Favored Nation Clause, which would have prevented any of the drug prices that we have here being higher than any of the drug prices that are in any of the lowest paying countries. Like, for instance, we got some pills that we sell here for like $300 that they sell for in India like 3 cents. Like, that's not even a joke. So these are real serious things that we are not able to have the conversations about, and we need to have these serious conversations. So he put that in his first time in office at the end of his period because the the drug industry was pushing back against him and didn't want him to put that. At that time, if you might remember, Operation Warp Speed with the different COVID shots and stuff like that, not a fan. A separate conversation for another time. But at that time, they were pushing for the Operation Warp Speed and all the money that was going into that or whatever the case is. But Trump was like, listen, y'all got to lower y'all drug prices. You're skimming on America. But worse than that, you're collapsing Medicaid and Medicare. It's too expensive. Y'all can't keep billing us like this. And because Medicaid and Medicare, there's no ability for you to negotiate pricing. All of the prices of the drugs keep going up and up and up. And that's how, what's his name? Martin Shackle, or however you pronounce his name. His name sounds like Shekel, and he's Jewish. I mean, that's somebody. That's funny. Come on, you guys. Come on, that's funny. I don't know. I don't know. Like, is he playing with us like that? Is that his real name? Like, I don't believe you. that's like a black football player's name being strong black man. Like, that's not, like, that can't be your real name. Like that, like Martin Shekel. Come on, stop it. Anyway, but that's what happened with Martin Shekel, where he raised the price of a HIV drug by 2,000%, and they still had to pay for it because they don't have any ability to negotiate the prices in Medicaid and Medicare. So these are conversations that we need to have. So Trump put in this most favored nation clause, and all of the drug companies were like, nah. Now, if you know anything about anything, you know that the drug lobby for these pharmaceutical drugs and the RX drugs, that's the biggest lobby in the country, bigger than everything else, including oil and tobacco and all of that. Now, with that being a thing, they cost him the election intentionally. And then to show him that they cost him the election intentionally, the next day after, go look this up because it's just so insane you can't even make this stuff up. The next day after, when he lost the election, I'm using air quotes if you can't see me. When he lost the election, okay, they announced that the RX drug companies announced that they had discovered and come up with the vaccine for COVID the day after. This is the day after. You mean they didn't have it 2 days before? You understand what I'm saying? They didn't have it 2 days before the election, because if they had it and they announced that, then it would have most likely changed the election results to people voting more for Trump. So they definitely held that back because they didn't want to pay for the lower cost of drugs. They wanted to keep making a ton of money. So all of you leftists out there that love Luigi, whatever his name is, Marshmallow, whatever his name is, okay, that killed the CEO of that insurance company, understand that Trump's been fighting this for some time. And this isn't about whether you like him or not. This is about facts. And sometimes facts are more important than your feelings. As a matter of fact, facts are always more important than your feelings. And this is a fact that people can't get away from. So now Trump is doing this. He's literally lowering most drug prices anywhere between 80 to 20%. And it's more than anybody has ever promised. Even Bernie Sanders promised a similar thing during his campaign in 2020. And Trump delivered. But when Trump delivered on that in his first term, Biden came in the first day, might have been the second day, but look that up too. The first day, he got rid of the most favored nations clause. Like, it's crazy. So now Trump is doing it again. He's doing it right now. So all of those people with all the drug prices and all the insulin and all of that nonsense, y'all gonna get this man his flowers now while he's still alive, or what? Because y'all said that you support it and stuff like that, but now he's doing it so you don't support it? Come on now, stop playing in my face, yo. Stop it. Stop it. Either you're for it all the time or you're not for it at all. Don't play in my face. These people, they make me so disgusted, you know? Like, if you're for it, stay for it. Like, I don't care who is championing my policies that I believe in. You understand? I kind of do, but I mostly don't. If tomorrow, let's see, who's somebody I don't really like? Cory Booker. I can't stand that man. That man is so fake. He's fake like a $3 bill. It's a problem. But anyway, I can't stand him. But if he were to be like, yeah, we need to deport all the illegal aliens tomorrow, I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to give that man his flowers. You know, if he was like, or supported any of the other various things that I support politically, because he's on the federal level, so it's different than the local level. But if he supported any of the other federal legislation, like if he was like, yeah, we should abolish income tax, I'd be like, absolutely, absolutely, Corey, absolutely. You know, like, so I don't care. I don't care who's championing it. But again, now that Trump's doing this and he's really about to do this, people are mad. They're like, oh, he's going to mess everything up. Can't do that. He can't do that. Well, they didn't. First of all, they didn't have that complaint the first time. Secondly, y'all mad because he's lowering the price of drugs? Like, is this really what we're doing right now? Hit the like, hit the heart, hit the share button, and drop in the comments either like a thumbs up or a hi, hello, or whatever. And if you drop a comment, I'll do my best to try to pop it up on the screen. So as we have this serious conversation, and definitely hit the retweet button. It don't cost you nothing. Hit the retweet button, hit the share. But as we continue with this conversation of everything that he's doing so fast, it's amazing what he's working on accomplishing. Now they're mad at him because, oh, Qatar wants to donate a jumbo jet for the presidency to use as a defense vehicle for a replacement for Air Force One, which if you guys don't know about what's been going on with Air Force One, it's barely in production because Trump started to get a new one built. Boeing was giving him a hard time on the price. They were overcharging us. Then he got the price down. Then Biden came in and canceled it. Now they're trying to redo it. It's a whole problem. It's a whole problem. So Qatar, who is supposed to be like one of our great allies, you guys take that the way you want to with a grain of salt or whatever, but is offering a plane for the presidency. And Chuck Schumer is like, oh, this is just corruption with extra legroom. And I'm like, shoot, at least there's some legroom somewhere because y'all be selling us out for chicken change. And I'm about sick of it. Chuck Schumer is one of the most corrupt people in the Senate. Like, is he for real right now? Like, and that's not even like a corruption thing. It could be considered questionable, but it's not like a corruption thing because they're giving it as a gift and then it's not being used for personal, right? And you can argue amongst yourself about that. Personal, it's being used for the presidency. And then afterward, they're saying they'll use it for the Trump Museum because by that time, the new plane should be done by Boeing, which Boeing is taking too long, takes too much of our money, and they messed up all types of different aerial programs. I got a lot of issues with Boeing and all of their military projects because y'all overcharging and y'all ain't delivering, and I got a lot to say about it, okay? Y'all can't overcharge and underdeliver. You either got to overcharge and overdeliver or undercharge and underdeliver, but you're not about to sit here and charge us more for crap garbage, okay? I got a lot to say about the F-35 program. The whole thing is trash. Okay, the Raptor was the best. Okay, but it was a little more expensive. That was the whole problem. But again, we were getting fleeced to begin with that. So it's a problem. It's a problem. We're getting fleeced because they run everything through the military budget and then they charge us more than what's necessary. And it's too costly for us to even build up our defenses. Like, come on, like you guys, like you are here. You just feel like that, oh, well, everything's going to be fine. And you're just going to rake as much money as possible from us without us having enough ships or planes or whatever to defend ourselves. Like, are you serious? Like, y'all not going to get new contracts anyway. Like, is this a game or something? Like, what is it? It is a game. It is a game to them because they keep making money. Why do you think they keep all these wars going on all across the world? You know, it's not for no reason because they make money. Defense contractors make money. Eisenhower warned us about the military-industrial complex before he left office. And then what did he do? End up dead 2 days later. He said the military-industrial complex is destroying our nation and is corrupting everything. 2 days later, my man was dead. The most popular president ever. Okay, to that time, okay, I think Reagan was or was it Nixon? Who was more popular, Reagan or Nixon? I think it might have been Nixon. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But he was the most popular president up to that time. You know, and he would have won another term if he could have run again. So, but he died like 2 days after giving that speech. They killed him. They killed that man for talking out about the military-industrial complex. But this is what they do. This is what they do. And it's crazy because they're not even we're paying them all this money and they ain't even giving us good stuff. And it's not on time. It's never on time. Everything is always late with these people. We need war supplies now. And I'm very also happy that Trump is working on shoring up our shipbuilding capacity and stuff like that. If you guys are in the Navy or know about the Navy or whatever, you might have seen Trump tell the person in charge of the Navy, he said, y'all need to clean the rust off these ships, which that is a very serious thing. And you need to get the ships out of port, out of clean up. I forget what it's called. It's slipping my mind, but out of dry dock and everything faster. And you need better turnaround times and all of this stuff. So he's working on it. He's also working on opening more shipyards, which we desperately need. So all of this stuff is very, very important. And he's working on it, and he's really starting to get stuff done. And this man can't get no type of flowers. Drink water. Stay hydrated. And again, it's not about whether you like him or not. It's about stuff is getting done that needs to get done. And you can't even give him no credit for that. Because why? Because you don't like him? Come on, man. Come on. Terrible. So disgusting. Makes me want to spit. But it's for real. And we need to have these serious conversations. That's why I'm so glad I could do the show with you guys. So make sure that if you can, please donate to the show so we can get more airtime. Airtime's not free. Working to raise about $25, $50. If you can donate $25 yourself, that's fantastic. Or if you can donate $10, that's fantastic. You can do it on Cash App, $MW-REAL, the number 1, that's $MW-REAL, the digit 1, or you can do it on Venmo or PayPal, and that's at Marcus C. Williams. So it's real simple. Please do donate because we're working on getting some more airtime for the show. It ain't free, so please help us. This is crazy what's going on right now. Every single day, Trump is doing more and more stuff to benefit us. I am not happy, though, about his most recent thing with the, I guess you would say, the laying off of tariffs on China. I'm not happy about that. I want to collapse China. My number 1 federal priority is collapsing China. After fixing our nation, it's collapsing China. Okay? China, we got to collapse China. China's a problem. Okay? China's a problem. Europe's a problem. Okay? Those are our 2 biggest problems. Okay? Outside of the globalist elite, which I just say all of Europe, you know. But I should say Brussels, right? The EU. But you know what I'm saying. But this is the conversation that we need to be having. I wasn't very happy about that, even though he's got other deals for trade and stuff with Sweden that he just secured and stuff like that. And they're working on something with China because China's having riots and stuff over there. Their factories are shutting down and their people are rioting in the streets. Good. Let them turn over their government. Let them overthrow Xi Jinping. Good. I hope China breaks up into many little independent states as it should be. But I guess there is also the concern there that if they get rid of Xi Jinping, there'll be somebody that's way more crazy than him in office and things going to pop off like real firecrackers in the oven. Okay. So, I mean, I guess I understand that too. So it is what it is. We'll see how it works out. I hope it comes through good at the end of things. Because he's like, oh, well, we're lowering the tariffs on China or whatever. If it was me, they'd stay on. They'd stay on. And people say, well, Marcus, the tariffs affect the American people. Yeah, mostly goods that you don't really need. Okay. But Marcus, it affects some companies. Again, these people in China is trying to kill us and destroy us and erase our way of life. Are you serious? And you talking about, oh, well, it's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to hurt a lot when they shove a rusty pipe up your bum with spikes on it. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you even talking about? Do you know what China does to oppress its own people? Like the Uyghurs, go look it up. You know what they do to the Falun Gong practitioners, Falun Dafa practitioners? Go look it up. Like live organ harvesting and stuff like that. Rape as a tool of warfare. Like re-education camps. Like, are you serious? Like, these are the people you're concerned? Man, please, don't get me started. I'll be here all day. I only got a couple moments left. So it's a very, very serious thing. And we got a lot of stuff going on right now. And we'll see where it goes. You know, like I said, I wasn't very happy about that. But we'll see if it comes to something good with China. Maybe. I guess I do have to take things in a holistic view where we've got a lot of really good trade deals coming in with a lot of other countries, which are starting to cut more ties from China, which is going to benefit us. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, sometimes you got to give people the benefit of the doubt because you're not able to see the full picture. But I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Make sure that you share this out with your friends, your family, even your people that you don't like. And if you're on the radio, make sure that you tell them, tune into The Divide with Marcus C. Williams, Mondays, 2:30 to 4 p.m. on WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio, where we have the conversations in your ear that you need to hear. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Marcus C. Williams channel. I'll catch you guys later. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. Get active, you guys. I love you all. All right, you guys. So I do want to talk about this China thing for a second. At some point, America is going to have to recognize that China is our enemy. They've been our enemy for decades, and they want nothing more than to dethrone us as the number one world superpower. China is our enemy. We need to do everything to collapse China. Okay, they've done all types of. I live in New York State. They sent us the lantern beetle to eat up all our fruit, the Asian lantern beetle. Where does it come from? China. They sent us the ash borer, the Asian ash borer. Where does that come from? China. To eat up all of our ash trees, okay, to destroy our ecology, okay. They sent the murder hornets, the Asian murder hornets. Where the Asian murder hornets come from? China. They sent those to the West Coast. Like people, they sent, remember, and you can look this up, okay. Some years ago, about maybe, I don't remember how many years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they sent all of these poisonous seeds around our country, and they were just like free seeds. China's just sending out free seeds, you know, and the FBI and stuff was like, don't plant them. And Department of Agriculture and what's the other one? The forest people. I don't know. I don't remember. Department of the Interior or something like that. I can't remember the other agency. But they were like, don't plant them. They were like, you got to burn them. Don't even put them in the garbage. Burn them. Because they're trying to destroy our ecology here and impact our everything. Like, so they're on a much bigger game and a bigger scale. That's why they bought up all the farmland. That's why they're the #1 pork producer in the United States of America. Like, this is a very, very serious long game that China's been playing on us. Okay? Like, and people are like, oh, well, our economy is too integrated. That's why we need to return manufacturing to the U.S. That's why these tariffs are so important. That's why reshoring all of the manufacturing is so important. And people are like, oh, well, that's never going to happen. Well, you never get out the daggone country then. Get out the country. Get gone. Leave. So these are the serious things that we need to have a conversation about. You talking about it's never going to happen. Never going to happen with people like you being a dickwad. Are you serious? Like, we need to bring this stuff back here because they're our enemy and they're trying to destroy us. Like, what don't you understand? Like, how is that not something that you understand? Like, this is crazy to me. Anyway, this is something that's really important, which is, again, why I said I was kind of hoping that that Pakistan-India affair would go on a little longer and it would drag China in there and a lot of their infrastructures would get torn up in Pakistan. Okay, that were done by China, so China would lose that money. So, but I know people are gonna be like, well, China has security on them and surety on them, and then they take it over, or whatever the case is. That's not happening. It's not happening because India is not about to let that happen. Okay, and that's a whole separate conversation because we have to understand the logistics and the stuff that's going on over there. But so many Americans only choose to understand barely what's going on in our own country. But that's too much like an important conversation that we really need to have. And that's why I'm so thankful to the Lord, our Father in heaven above, that we have been able to have this show and that we are here to share with you the conversation that you need to hear. And all of you can actually join in and comment yourselves. I do my best to answer everybody's comments, even if I don't see them while we're streaming live. I do my best to go back and answer all the comments. Okay, this is very serious and these are serious conversations. And I hope that I can encourage you to get active locally. Go out to a local city council meeting, go out to a local school board meeting, get active locally, because while we might not be able to save the world by ourselves as individuals, we might be able to start by saving our own towns. We can actually make a real difference when we start to join together and we start to get active. But it's going to take everybody to start to improve what's going on in our country. We are not able to do it alone. And if you live in the Rochester area, please volunteer with me. Go to my website, Marcus4Rochester.com. That's Marcus4Rochester.com, and volunteer or donate to my campaign to actually turn around our city. But that's what I got for you guys this week. Make sure that if you're not following or subscribed right now, you take 2 seconds and follow and subscribe, and make sure you share this out everywhere you can. I'll catch you guys later. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. You guys be blessed and be well.